What we're going to do here today, our training today, and hi everybody. Everybody throw in the chat where you guys are coming from. I see UK and Germany, and throw in there, put your flags in. Let's get excited about being here. Thank you guys for joining us. Man, just whew, love it. Everywhere, everywhere. Beautiful. Australia, Norway. We're all over. Macedonia. We are all over. I know my Poland group is here. I see them. Um, Yeah, amazing. Switzerland, Cyprus. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about something, and you guys have probably seen it, and we didn't really go over it yesterday. You guys probably saw it, and you see it in the confirmations as something called the VIX. Okay, what we're going to talk about here today is we're going to tell you what that is, so you can understand, what it's doing, right? How it's helping us, why it's helping us, what essentially it's doing for us. Okay, so that's what we're going to go over today. That should really give you the pieces. So I'll just give you the breakdown of what the next couple days are going to look like. Okay, so we got kind of the basics. We threw some parameters up there so you guys can kind of start testing it. Okay, today we're going to talk about the VIX, how the VIX works in confirmation, and we'll tell you why we still need some testing to be done, some on things like gold and pairs and such, because the VIX is something that is kind of removing some of the losses and allowing us to get a little bit better win rate. Well, it's actually a fairly substantial win rate. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over that today. Okay. Then tomorrow we're going to talk about how we manage our positions. Okay. It's already being recorded. Okay. I had it automatic. Okay. So we're going to talk about how we manage our positions a little bit more. And then I think tomorrow we'll also go over, and I know a lot of people here might be brand new and they've never seen any of our scanners or any of our tools. Okay. We're also going to show you kill shot. Kill shot. Anyway, I realized that we're doing a Supernova boot camp and that my whole opening screen is kill shot. I just realized that today. I like music throbbing and kill shot. I'm like, okay, well, we're talking about Supernova. But that's just because I'm so used to using that intro music. So we're gonna go through how Supernova, okay, we're gonna go through setups tomorrow. Okay, so anybody here who's been trading for a while or who knows, we have A plus setups, we have B setups, and we have C setups. We want to avoid the C. B's we might feel okay about. The A plus setups we want to make sure we take every time. Okay, and so we're gonna show you guys on tomorrow how those setups work, and then Thursday we're gonna trade. Okay, Thursday we're gonna get on at noon. We're gonna trade, and I'm gonna show you guys. We're gonna trade together. We're gonna make some money. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what we do. I'm gonna show you how good we are at it. And we're gonna make some money. We'll make some money on Thursday. Okay, Friday will come. Okay, Friday will come. We are going to do a back test. Okay, so that means we're going to go on to Supernova. We're going to talk about everything we saw all week and confirm, what we've been doing, confirm the good signals, what they would have done, what we would have got returns, and then we'll talk about, what the next step is, what we're going to, maybe we might even find a position on Friday. We'll see how that kind of works out. But that's our plan here for the next few days. So today we're going to talk about the VIX. Okay. Let me share the screen. I'm going to show you what the VIX is. Okay. All right. We're going to put a one in that chat and make sure you guys can tell me you guys can see this chart. So we don't know. Give me a thumbs up from Craig. That's good. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to talk about this big old dot you see. Okay. So what this big old dot is, and I'm going to have to just go back down my screen so I can see the panel on the side. Okay, we are recording. Everybody, we are recording. Don't worry. Okay, we are recording. Okay, so this big old dot here on what I'm going to do. You guys don't want to stop the chat. Let me move this chat up here just so we're out of the way. Okay. And then if I got to chat to you, I can go over there and I can still see my screen. Okay, so what we're talking about here on this big old dot here, this is what we call the VIX. Okay, so the VIX stands for the volatility index. Okay, so essentially what that means, and I've done some training on this in our community. Okay, I've done some trading on this in our community. We need a little bit longer time frame than that because it is essentially what we see on the 5. I'm just going to turn Supernova off for now on here. Okay, but it's going to tell us what this essentially tells us is what the market sentiment is on the VIX. So the VIX essentially stands for, okay, we're going to do a little in depth here. It is a fear here and greed. Okay. And greed index. Okay. Or a buying and selling sentiment. Okay. Okay. So what this is telling you, and if I go in a big long time frame, I can show you. Okay. So we're looking for this in a bit of a smaller time frame because of its impulsivity, but I'll show you on a higher time frame. Okay. I'll show you on a higher time frame. And I got some things on here. Okay. So, and I'll just tell you what it is. Okay. This, does anybody know what this is? Anybody want to know? Anybody want to tell me what happened here? Okay. Oh, that's not even the one I'm talking about. Okay. Yeah, war. Let's talk about this one. Okay. Anybody want to know what this is? Anybody want to take a guess at what this
Was it the start of
is?
the war between Israel and
That
Lebanon?
was a start. Yep, it was the start of a war. That first one, does anybody know what this is? This is COVID. Did anybody remember what happened to the market when this happened? Right? So what this correlates is it correlates into buying and selling pressure. Right? So when we go over to US 30, you can let's take a look, right? See the volatility, see this thing just shoot through the roof. And this is literally this circles from previous training, is that when we were up here, we were in March of 2020, right? So let's go over here to US 30, which is essentially the stock market. Okay, let's go over and take a look at what was happening to the market. Nah, it's not going to let me go back that far. So it doesn't have enough historical data. Maybe if I change this to a week, maybe it'll let me see it. To go back that far. Yeah, it's almost. Okay, let me just do month. I got too much stuff on my chart, so historical data will only go back so far. Almost there now. It's literally right to the edge of it. Let's do one more. Let's just do 6 months. It should show up now. Doesn't quite make it. Well, that's annoying. Okay, so it won't actually go back to show me what I want to see here. So it's just going to show us. It won't let me go back to it. So we're just going to go back to our daily. Okay, but what essentially that is, we'll go back over to the. Okay, we'll go back over to the VIX here. Okay, and I would like to just show you guys when we go back here. Okay, we got our fear and greed. So this was the top of the pandemic. So anybody here who could see that chart, I don't know why my historical data won't go back that far. Maybe I get to open things up a little bit, but you can see. Oh, I guess I got to just click that little dinosaur thing, don't I? No, I got to click the dinosaur thing and it lets me go back. I forgot about that. Okay, it just keeps the information off here, and Killshot tends to use a bunch of it. So as you can see, this was when the market had crashed. So I actually have alerts set here at these levels. And when we get to these alert levels, I buy the market because this is when the market is afraid. Okay. Now, what do we want to do, right? When the market is getting super volatile and getting afraid, right? The market has sold off. These are our opportunities. When we talk about a little bit long-term opportunities, when the market is up here like this is our opportunity to buy the market. And if I could show you in US 30, it's over 2 times. The market is over doubled since this happened. Right? It dropped all the way down to like 17,000, right? It's now at 40, 42, right? So, okay, it's not going to be the same. I mean, Bitcoin still crashed, but it won't be the same. It won't be the same in Bitcoin as it will in US 30. Okay. If I click this little dinosaur, it might actually. I don't know what that's gonna do. It says it'll go back further, but let's see if it does. Let's see what it does over here. I'll try and show you here and see if this thing will give me that historical data. Um, okay, there it is. So it's going to give us that historical data. Okay. So as you can see, right, this is what the market did, right? This is what the market did, right? Dropped all the way down to 18,000. Now look what it's done since, right? Right. So on that volatility index, which I'm gonna come off of this chart because I don't need all this historical data. I just wanted to show you it dropped. This right here at April and March is the high of this VIX. Okay. Do, 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 do. Okay. This is the high of this VIX. Okay. As I can show you there, it's the high of that VIX, right? That VIX in March 2020, right? Here it is, March and April, right? Started to drop in April, started to drop in April. So when it's up here, it's when the market is the most afraid, which means the market is selling. Okay. So the market is selling off at this point. Okay. These things on the VIX. This is, you'll learn this from maybe long-term investors, but when the VIX gets like this, and the reason I have alerts is because when it's up here, I want to start buying the market. If you'd have bought the market back in the bottom of that drop, which you can see over here, what would you have done to your money? You'd have bought the market in here in March and April. It's over doubled, right? It's you would get then that's the value of the market, not the actual return on your dollars. This is a couple thousand% return, right? Buying in this. That's why I've set these alerts. And we actually hit these alerts one time and I actually bought it. It happened so quickly in one day here in August. I think this was actually when we had some news about dollar. Okay. So, and you can see this when it's high is when the market is afraid. And when it's the bottom is so what do they say in long-term investing, right? You sell greed, you buy fear. It's exact opposite of market sentiment, right? When the market sentiment is afraid, that's your opportunity when you buy. That's the best opportunity at long-term exponential returns. Okay. So why does that VIX, what does it do for us when we're trading maybe in a shorter term? Okay. So when we go to the 5 minute, what it's doing is it's helping us to define market sentiment, which we're looking for impulsivity, right? And as you can see, this thing went dropping down here today, right? Since open. And what did the market do? The market went up, right? So what this is telling us on this chart, this is literally directly from this 5 minute chart. It's telling us whether the market sentiment, if there's buyers in it or sellers in it, compared to what the volatility index is doing. So what the volatility index is telling us is whether buyers or sellers are present in the market. Okay, so if we're looking for impulsive moves, we're looking for impulsive moves on US 30, what would play into that impulsivity? Right? What's going to play into that impulsivity is what the sentiment is in the market, what the market wants to do, whether it still has buying pressure, even though it might be dropping slightly, it still has buying pressure, right? So what we want to do is we want to look for that impulsive market. We want to look for that impulsive move in that direction. So what the VIX is doing is it's helping you to define the impulsive move. Because you might be having this return, right? We talk about here, we go over Supernova. Okay. Okay. We might be having this. Yeah, let's get over to the one. Right. You have this drop here, but maybe, and you even just a buy right here that just went and crushed out in some blue here. I don't know if that came out with a good VIX or not. I'd have to look into my chart here. And it did. Okay, it did come. The buy came with the good VIX. That means that when this impulsive move, so what Supernova is giving us, okay, is it's giving us impulsive moves, right? Impulsive, right? Bounce down here, look at that, bam, back up, hit it again, reversed, grabbed a little bit, okay, grabbed a little bit. Yeah, we took a loss on that one. Oh well, you took one loss. Here's the deal, Esther. If you would have taken these, you were using a 50 pip and a 100 pip TP, you would have taken a 50 pip loss here. You would have got all of it back and 100 here on the buy, right? It went 150. right? This buy, I'm not sure what this buy did right at 708, but there was over 100 pips in that buy. Sell was a loss, another 100 pips in this buy. Now we're in this buy. So you actually would have been up 150 pips already, even if you would have taken that 50 pip loss along the way. Okay. And now the buy here, you'd already ran 60 pips. You would have taken 50 of that. Okay. You literally, if you would have taken every signal today, okay, if you would have taken this buy, obviously we wanted to open and things got a little bit crazy here, and I actually might have wicked you out at 50 pips. Oh man, that was close. Right? That actually might have wicked you out at 50 pips in that open. Let's see what the buy would have been right there. 841, 785. So this would have literally, if you had a 50 pip stop, this probably would have wicked you out here. If it didn't, obviously there was a whole bunch. Let's say we just ignored that one, right? Missed the sell, took the sell, and that green star popped here, which we're going to show you. Okay. It's already inverted. It's already inverted. Doesn't have to. This color is the inversion. It's already inverted. I already did that, Mark. This is already inverted. Just listen to what this thing tells you. Don't worry about going to the VIX or any of that stuff. We've already taken what's going to the VIX and we've inverted it. So it'll tell you. Okay. So that you know whether it's selling pressure or buying pressure. Okay. So, okay. All right. So what does this VIX help us with? Right. We already have the star. We're looking for it to stay still. We're looking for those 3 candles of impulsivity. Then we're looking for a break, right? A break of a 238 or a break of a 50, sorry, break of a 50. Okay. Then we're looking to follow those parameters that we set out yesterday and go with it. Okay. So we're looking for all those impulsive moves. And what we also want to know is that the market is actually the sentiment and the buying power on that 5-minute chart or selling power on that 5-minute chart is working with us. So we're not trying to jump into a trade that's going the opposite direction. This one should have been a break even. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. Okay. Because of this big old green star here. Right? You could have got into this thing. You got in this thing at 90. Green star came. It actually almost went 30 pips. That green star comes, you got to protect against it, which we'll talk more about. Right? We'll talk more about it tomorrow. This should have been a break even. Might even been 10 pips on it. This should have been a break even because you would have protected against that. But like I said, our entries are A plus B. Okay. There won't always be a green star. Nope. Just like in this move on this buy, there wasn't a red star. The yellow candle is the signal. The yellow candle is the signal. You want to get into that signal, get into that candle when it closes. This red star didn't pop till around here. Right? So you could have been holding this buy, waiting for this thing to go, right? All right, 3 people in the waiting room. Okay. And then once that red star popped, we would have followed it up, right? Same thing over here. As soon as that red star came, bam, we protect this thing. I will show you all that stuff tomorrow, how we protect against these. Okay. All right, so you see the VIX actually went neutral there, right? It actually slowed down and went neutral here. That means there's no buying or selling power essentially in this market, so it's a bit neutral, okay? Which probably means this switches to buy and pushes back up if I was getting, rock that. So the VIX is giving you extra direction. I wouldn't say it's volume, but more sentiment. And those are 2 different things, which we could go through the whole thing. But what it means is it's giving you more identification on the direction of the market, right? If it's buying power, we want to be in a buy, right? Obviously, this can switch, but this thing going neutral after it was in a little bit of a sell told me that it was probably getting ready to switch back over to buy. And this thing will probably push up a little bit. But okay, so that VIX is giving you just an extra market sentiment. Okay, so what it does is if the market sentiment is buy and one of these sells pop out, it's going to tell you not to take it because they're not aligned. Okay, if a buy pops up and the market is actually in a selling direction or a selling sentiment on that VIX, it's going to tell you not to take it. And this thing, this is something that actually Robert brought to the table, has helped us to eliminate a bunch of the losses. Now, it is going to eliminate some wins. Of course it is. But it eliminates a majority of the losses, which allows you to get into some of the better trades. It just increases its strike rate. Okay, so that's essentially what the VIX is. Now we could go down and into all these things, right? But when it's in buying power and it's in green, you want to be into buys. Okay. When it's in selling, okay, when it's in selling power, you want to be in sells. Well, then think about protecting it, right? And that would have changed with this star, right, Kyle? Right? You would have jumped into here. It would have been in a nice buy. It would have been up like 60 pips. That red star was popped, right? Then it started to switch to sell. Probably get uptight behind it, right? Be like, I'm just going to protect my pips in case this thing wants to reverse down. Okay, so that's what the VIX is. The VIX is going to give you the ability, okay, to see what, on top of what this thing's already telling us with its impulsive direction, it's also going to tell you what way the market might be wanting to be, sentiment might be wanting to go, whether the buyers or sellers have control of it. Right. So that's what the VIX is. The VIX is literally from the 5-minute chart on the VIX, it's telling us from that 5-minute level whether it's buying or selling power, because we are on the 1 minute. So we're just looking to find that impulsive move and get our pips and get out. Right. So as you can see, it's shifted to buy. It's still in buy. A little red. We didn't get a red star yet. And so, okay, it's the 5-minute candle. It's the data inside that candle. Sorry. Okay. So that's what the VIX is. That was the training today to come and show you and tell you what the VIX means. Okay. And just before we go, that's only a half-hour call. I just wanted to talk about the VIX so you guys understand it more, a little bit more in depth. If you want to, you can go look up what the VIX means. And that's just essentially, it's a direct correlation to the buying and selling power in the market. I like to call it the fear and greed meter. When the VIX is down, that's when the market is greedy. You don't really want to be entering, or buying the market when it's sitting down there, right? Okay. So that's the thing. When we talk about it here, and that's why we need to test the VIX in things like gold, in things like the pairs. Okay. BTC, it works because BTC has some market buying and selling sentiment, but it's specific for market pairs, right? The VIX is very specific because it's based on market sentiment. So it works best for US 30, NAS, JUR 30, right? It works best in those markets because those markets are market sentiment, right? Those markets are markets that are going to be based on buying and selling sentiment. So it works the best in those markets. We haven't tested enough in gold to see if the VIX is going to give that kind of data to make sure that it has that high rate. Just remember, the majority of the people that come to learn to trade with me tend to spend their time in US 30. So that's where they help create these tools. Now, we know that Supernova works on gold as well, right? We know it does. So we have, some people looking into it and testing it, and we're going to keep working on how it works from gold. We know that it works on gold as well. Come over here and take a look at it, right? And it's in some nasty little consolidation, but we'll just call the sell, right? We had a little sell here. We're going to talk about these entries that we don't like. We'll talk about this 238 more tomorrow in terms of where we enter this thing and how we need to protect it. As you can see, all of these things are essentially happening. This one would have been really nice happening on the other side. I mean, this was my magic arrow from tomorrow. So from this morning, anybody who likes to come and trade, wants to learn to come and trade with me, I literally put that magic arrow and then got off the call, and this thing just proceeded to push all the way up there. Maybe you would have kind of followed that magic arrow. There was a couple thousand pips in it. A couple thousand pips in it. I do 1000% have another scanner called Killshot. That is my original scanner. Anybody here was part of the previous company or with me in the previous company? That's what they called Sniper Vision. They had a cheat. They had a crap. They had another version of it that doesn't work as well as the version we have on trading. I just had to try to bite my tongue there because I don't want to speak bad about anybody. But Killshot's the original. Killshot's what we built it. Killshot is all those things and then some. We've added so many other pieces to it. Tomorrow we're going to show you how they, okay? We're going to show you how they work together. No, you get in at the signal. Landon says, I thought you got in on the third candle, or am I misunderstanding? Are we looking back 10 candles when we get in the signal? You just get in the signal. The signal is filtering out the 3 candles in the 10 candles. Just get in at the signal. Okay? You don't need to filter or do anything. The signal is when you get in. Look at this thing. Look at it. We didn't get a buy on gold there, but look at the sell. Look at the swing. Look at the swing in this. Let's talk about gold swinging. right? You just need this one, right? Look at this. He managed to hold that through there. I mean, well, think that'd be okay. Get back above this zone. Nice little 1 to 5. Oh, look, buy all the way back, sell all the way back, buy with some pips in it, sell right on that 238, which we don't like. We probably would have jammed here. We'll talk about that entry tomorrow. And it would have rejected, probably hit a loss, and then actually went down to some blue. Buy right on that 238 again, which we don't really want. And this sell has just come down here now. Looks like it's slowing down, bouncing, but gold paid today as well. No, cannot. It must have. I went over it yesterday. It must have a star, then 3 candles of the same color in the same direction within 10 candles, then break the 238. Those are your confirmations of the signal, of the impulsive move. So it can't. As you can see here, you didn't get it. Right? It happened after. Even though this thing went for a run. Where did I see that thing? I missed one here. Right here. As I tried to zoom in, it kicked me up. Right? You didn't get it. It broke this thing in 2 candles, even though it decided to go run all the way up here. It broke it in 2 candles, so you didn't get your confirmation. Okay. Okay. And then, I mean, NAS, couple of sells tapped right against each other, right with this 238. Buy was good. I think another buy down here. Buy was also good down here right before open. Couple of buys in there, and these 2 little sells. I don't know if they came with the VIX or not. We're going to work on building some more signals. If anybody, after we get through this kind of free boot camp, people who continue with us and join our team and join our organization, we're going to create signal groups for this, for gold, and for NAS, and then probably BTC as well, depending on how many people kind of transition over into joining the team and in doing these things. Is because it's going to cost me some money to do it, but yeah, we're going to create signal telegrams for everybody as well. Okay, so anybody while we're still here, okay, to be honest, Debbie, it's never been tested on anything but the one, because we're looking for these impulsive moves, right? We're looking for this impulsive move in the market, this trend, then impulse back. Higher time frames aren't going to tend to give you those really big impulsive moves. They can happen. You'll have to increase your parameters and all those things, but we haven't tested it on anything but the 1 minute. And that's the glory and the beautiful part of our trading community, is that we are here together. We are all testing. We're all growing. We know this works. We're providing new evolution of trading, giving people new opportunities. That's what we have here. Now, if you wanted to go test this thing on a 15-minute, cool. You'll have to come with some parameters. You'll have to spend a month or 2 in there. Then you'll have to come tell me. Then we'll have to take a look at it. And this is how we work as a team, as an organization, is that I don't just bring things to groups, and I make sure that we've tested it, and I make sure that it works, and I make sure we all can win and all those things. Right? So it has not been tested on higher time frames. And for me, 50 pips and 100 is already you're already testing my limit on parameters, because I don't like big stops and big TPs. I like to just take my money out of the market. So I've had to kind of switch a little bit on some of the parameters that I like to trade in order to get the most out of this strategy. Okay. So any questions before we close it off here today? A nice quick one. We'll talk about the VIX. Okay. Let's go over here. Okay. As long as it's still moving in that direction. Alan says, how long is a buy or sell signal valid? There's no timing to remove it. I mean, I wouldn't want to jump into this because they're impulsive. I don't want to be jumping into it up here. We want to jump into it close to the signal. If you miss the signal, wait for the next one. Jim says, can you get over the last Supernova buy? The green star, then 3 candles, but didn't get the signal in 10 candles. That's not how it works, guys. That's not how it works. You get the star. Okay? First the star prints. Then within 10 candles of that star, you need to get 3 candles in the same direction within the 10 candles. Then it needs to break the 50. Okay. Then it needs to break the 50. We're going to add London to it. Then it needs to break the 50. It doesn't need to break the 50 within 10 candles. It needs to get 3 candles of the same color within 10. Okay, that means the star and those 3 candles in the 10 tell you that there's an impulsive move in the short term. Then we need it to hold that impulsive move and continue and break one of the means. Right? It didn't break here. If it would have broke here and held the other side, you would have got your signal right there. But it didn't. Came all the way back down. You already have your 3 candles, right? You already have your star and you already have your 3 candles, right? You have your star and you immediately got your 3 candles, right? 1, 2, 3. First 3 candles immediately got it. That happened within 10 candles. So that keeps you out of something like this. You didn't get it, right? So this is your first candle. Then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, after 10, you still got 1, 2, 3 in a row, and it broke the 50. So it actually did go down here and hit into some profit, but you didn't get your signal because it didn't happen fast enough with this star. And because it didn't happen fast enough for this star, this could very easily have just headed back up. The signal comes for a break and closed, no retest. A break and close. Okay. Break and close. Okay. Yes, Matt's is trying to simplify it. I'm trying to give you guys more understanding of what it's doing. Okay. 1000%. Well, you're probably on a different chart then. I'm on Black Bull. It says my buy is in a different place. You're probably maybe over here, or maybe it's on the next one. But if you are on a different chart, you're going to get a little bit of a different. Whoa. I don't like how these EMAs are just sitting on each other at 1240 on US election. Careful, be careful with this one. Yeah, if you're on a different chart, if you're not on Black Bull, you're gonna have a little bit of a different price action. Just a little bit of a different price action than mine. So you might get a little bit of a different signal. This candle might close a little bit earlier, or this candle here might have closed earlier, those types of things. Just because you're gonna have a little bit of a different price action. I am on Black Bull. Okay, so if you want to get exactly what I'm seeing, then be on Black Bull. Okay. All right, all right. That's our call here today. Okay. Tomorrow we're gonna go over A plus setups, B plus B setups, and C setups. Okay, we're gonna go over all that tomorrow, how our parameters will fit, why we think it's a great setup, what we need to see first, right? Having our stop losses back behind EMAs, which tomorrow, for anybody here who's brand new and has never traded with us and is looking at these EMAs and is like, what are you talking about? I will tell you and I'll explain what these EMAs are before and what they mean for us before we talk about, the best setups. Okay. So hey, look at that. A couple pips there for you guys to close. Be careful with all this rejection stuff beside it, but I think she's gonna pop and run. Okay. Everybody have a wonderful day. Stop sharing my screen. And just before everybody goes, thank you again for everybody who's here and everybody here's testing. And one thing that's a prime example in there is how our mindset needs to work, right? Is how we need to look at this thing at least as a day, but at least as a week or month, because you're going to take losses. Losses are a part of the deal with this strategy and a 50 pip stop. You're going to take some fairly big losses because that's a little bit bigger than we're used to, as long as we manage our percentage right, which we'll go over more in making sure we're 0.5% to 1%. But we need to be in that mindset that the next one is going to get it back. And the one thing about this strategy is the next one always gets it back. So we just keep moving forward. We keep trading forward. We follow those rules and the strategy that's put out, and we just go to work every day and follow those rules. And I promise at the end of the week, when we do this, we're going to go on the end of the week, we're going to go back test and we're going to go take a look. And you're going to be like, dang, if I took because this is Friday is going to be, I'm going to fully prove it. We're all here doing it together. Everybody gets to learn. But on Friday, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove it and prove what this will do to your account if you can follow it. Okay. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll see you same time tomorrow as we go over some setups, and then maybe we'll do some live trading on Thursday. So everybody help everybody grab some pips. And then on Friday we'll prove it. We'll go over it, we'll prove it, and we'll show you guys how this thing works. So love you guys. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.